Hello and welcome to the Twitch. And today we've got Zoe from Maintain Independence with us. Lovely to have you with us, Zoe.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm really
Good.
happy to be here.
Great. No, we're really honoured. So, Zoe, the first question we like to ask everybody who joins us on the Twitch is, are you a true or honorary dabber?
I wish I was a true. I really, really do, because I love Nantwich so much, but now I'm honouring. Sorry.
Are you? So how long have you been here, Nantwich?
Well, it's a bit of a story. So we moved to Nantwich in 2001 from Germany. But I was only here for about 18 months and then I joined the army and then I was off again. Yeah, so my mum worked for the army in Germany and her contract was coming to the end, and we are originally from Northern Ireland.
Okay.
And I've got this really weird southern accent that just, where are you from? I don't know. And my ex-head teacher had a rental in Williston in Nantwich. And it's a big house. My mum's got 5 girls.
Lots of sisters, yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
that's where we ended up. And I very much class Nantwich as home. I love Nantwich. I love the community. I love the town. I just love everything about it. So as much as I would, I mean, my kids
claim to be dabbers. No, that's great. Thanks. So you've touched on a few things there. The army, I know that's something that we have in common. I'm also retired military, the Navy I was in. And I know we've connected over that before. We will come back to that, but I just want to focus on for the moment, on your business, Maintain Independence. Just want you to tell us a bit more about that and what you do, and then we will see how you got into it and follow your journey from the army into Maintain Independence. So tell us about the business then, Zoe.
It still feels wild, when somebody says your business and then says Maintain Independence, because it still doesn't feel real. It still doesn't, and it still makes me go, oh, somebody says your business. Yeah, my business. We are now 18 months officially of going very strong from, when I did my mileage the other day I'm well behind on my accounts, but I did my mileage from looking at last, where are we? April to this April, looking at my calendar from last April to this April, and just having the dream and hoping and praying that everybody sees what I see. Yeah. And now looking at my calendar this year and I'm like, oh my goodness.
You're busy, it's full.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Which is incredible.
I left a job that I loved, but it was a very unhealthy place to be. It just wasn't I was very low, and Maintain had been in the background for, at this point, I can't even remember. It'd been in the background for a while.
In terms of an idea that you wanted to
and
develop.
I was doing things like part-time here. I was doing like little events. And then I got, which is now my clinic space, in July 24, the view of just working a Friday, still doing my old job and just working a Friday, and not really ever thinking, I never believed that
you could go full time, and
that would ever be, because that's just not me.
No.
Like a business owner, or
But you've done it, and you've done it spectacularly successfully. So, which is amazing, and also, well done you.
Thank you.
So, just for the people who aren't people listening or watching who aren't familiar with your business, Maintain Independence, just give us an overview of what you do, because some of the work you do is absolutely incredible. So,
thank you. It is what it says on the tin. Yeah. The whole thing we want to do is help people to maintain their independence. And it doesn't mean that we just work with people who are older adults. And I don't really know what is an older adult. It's very hard to kind of put that into a bracket, but we work with people of all ages to help them to continue to live the life that they want to.
By keeping physically.
Yeah. So it's rehab. So it's physical rehabilitation and nutrition. We have a clinic space where it's predominantly soft tissue and MSK. And then we also have a rehab suite where it's a bit like a gym, but it's more catered to rehab. And then we also do home visits for people who are probably, their health would dictate that a home visit would be more applicable to them than coming into the clinic or something. So it's about keeping people at home in the way that they choose to live their life.
Hence the name, Maintain Independence. So trying to keep, as you say, keep people in their own homes, staying independent so they can look after themselves, which is a fabulous thing to do. So then how did you get into it? What was your journey into where you are today?
Complete accident.
Was it?
A complete accident. When I was leaving the army, I didn't know, I'm probably the same as you when you were leaving the Navy.
So what did you do in the army?
I was in the military police.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guess that would have been a natural step, because I'd done a lot of qualifications with the civilian police, intelligence analyst, crime reduction. That would probably be a natural step. But I fell in love very accidentally I did a nail technician course, and that sounds so wild, but it was a level 3 nail tech course. And I just thought, well, I really like doing my nails on leave, so why not? Like, you get free.
You do. You get lots of opportunities to train, don't you, when you leave in the military?
Yeah. So I did a nail tech course, and I was like, do you know what? This anatomy and physiology is really kind of piqued an interest. Yeah. I am dyslexic, and I really didn't do well at school. So actually having that academic interest was something very new to me, and it just snowballed, and I was like, what can I do next? And then I accidentally fell into a role in a care home of being an exercise specialist working with older adults with dementia, and I was like, right, what else do I need? I'm going to get that qualification, and it just continued. So
had you had any qualifications going into that role in the care home?
Well, I did, because when I left the army 2014, I left the army. In 2010 I'd started to retrain, not ever with an idea of working in rehab. It was more fitness and nutrition, and then it was an opportunity came up. My daughter was 10 months old, and this job advert came up for 4 hours a week, and I was like, great, she's not even one. For whatever reason, we decided to get a puppy, had a 3-year-old, but it was a typo on this job advert, and had it been the 30 hours, I wouldn't have applied for it. So I got offered the job, and then I was like, so these 4 hours, like, no, it's not 4 hours, it's 20 or 30, whatever it was. And I was like, oh, well, let me see if I can work this. And then,
so you did, you made it. And it's funny how things work like that. As you say, you would never have applied for that if you'd have known what the real hours were.
Because I left the army being, section commander, I had a role, and I left really, well, my son was nearly 1, so I left to become a mum, and then I lost my identity completely. Like, I was no longer this super human. That's how I kind of saw myself. I was Eden's mum. I didn't even have a name anymore, and I really lost myself. And then getting back into work, I joined the army at 17 and left at 30. I'd never been in any other job. Obviously moved around units and stuff. Didn't know what being a civilian looked like, how that should have been, and looking for work obviously after I've had my second child. And
it's a whole new world, isn't it? It's so different because it's such a different environment.
Wild. You know, being in the military, like if you're not 5 minutes early, you're 5 minutes late. There's certain disciplines that the army, the amount of meetings I've had and people have turned up really late. Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm like, you're 10 minutes late. I'm like,
I'm not very good now. I used to be. I've been out of the Navy for a very long time, but some of that's worn off for me now. But I try not to be late. I hate being late. I think that's something that you never lose. Yeah, it was a good grounding, I think, being in the military. Certainly, as I say, not meant to be late. Do as you're told, generally. Yeah, just
discipline and motivation and doing things from start to finish.
Which has obviously helped you to get where you are today with your business. So you left the army, so you trained to be a nail technician, and you got a job in a care home, and that's when you started really training in the sort of physiotherapy side of. Do you do physio?
No, not physio. And this is like a really big kind of confusion.
Yes.
So a physiotherapist would concentrate on chronic health conditions, whereas my qualification at university level is sports therapy, clinical sports therapist. Yeah. But then I've done additional qualifications in neuro and pulmonary rehabilitation. I'm also a nutritionist. So I'm a personal trainer. So I've got all these qualifications. So trying to bring it together, it's like so many people call me a physio.
Yeah.
And then I have to no, I'm not a physiotherapist. No. This is what I can. And it's so long-winded.
It's quite different then, I suppose, isn't it?
It's so different.
The different mixture of special, sort of expertise that you have, all those different.
One of the things that is really great about my role is, as an example, I'm working at the moment with 2 sisters trying to keep them together. And when the NHS physiotherapists go in, they're very restricted. Whereas I can go in and yes, I have the exercise that we can do, but also I'm a nutritionist. So actually, is there something that's causing you a bit more inflammation? Is there something that we need to be looking at that you're not getting a new diet that could be maybe interfering with medication? I can also bring exercise equipment with me. So I have a lot of things like passive bikes. And things like that. And then also, because I'm qualified in soft tissue, that's my main qualification, that if I'm trying to go to somebody and exercise isn't the thing, I can then have all these other things in my bag from a holistic point of view, right? Okay, we've got the plan to exercise today, but that isn't going to be the plan because you're not feeling great because you're in pain. Well, let's do some soft tissue work. Let's free up the muscle fibers so we can do the exercises. Not only that, the appointment times are a lot longer, which means I really get that person-centered one-to-one. I get to know my clients so well. very blessed with some of the people I've been able to help. And it's a real honour, to see somebody stay in their own home. And
it must be an incredible sense of satisfaction for you and to see, as you say, so fulfilling to see those results because it's so tangible. They haven't had to go into a home. So is there any particular case studies you can
gosh, there's so many.
talk us through? Yeah.
So many.
Who was the first? When did it all, in the early days with Maintain, was there one of your very early clients that you helped that really kind of spurred you on to want to do it for a lot more people?
Do you know that there has been so many amazing case studies that I've just gone, great, that's brilliant. And I think one of the things that the amazing thing about my role and my job is, and maybe it comes from being a police officer previously, because I have to investigate, because it doesn't always happen on the first session. But when somebody's told, like a stroke survivor, this is it, you've had a stroke, nothing's going to change, this is life now.
Yeah.
For somebody to ever be told that, I think it's so harmful.
Because it takes all hope away.
Yeah.
And so it perhaps makes them not want to try. Maybe.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the emotional impact of a stroke, I mean, I obviously haven't had a stroke. I'm just talking on behalf of people that I work with. I have a lovely partnership with the Stroke Speech and Language Charity in Crewe and Nantwich. And they also have the part of their group is also in Holmes Trap at Alsager and Sandbach. A lovely community that Liz Bedson has created. She just won the King's Award. She's an amazing woman. When I first met her, she said, so what do you want from us? I was like, I just want to be friends, because I just fell in love with her. And I went to one of her groups, and then she started to send some of her survivors to me. And one of the very first people she sent to me, a chap called Dave, and he had had a stroke at that point 7 years prior to his appointment. And it was December 24. And he had 2 appointments with me. And the second appointment, he could move his toes and his foot again for the first time.
In 7 years?
Since his stroke, and was told, you're never going to be able to do that. Incredible. So from some soft tissue work, but also doing some neurotherapy as we're kind of like processing in the brain what I'm trying to get him to do.
Yeah.
Very holistic, very sensory orientated, very kind of trying to get somebody in tune with their body. Another lady from the stroke group, she was in pain for 4 years and she had, I think, 2 or 3 sessions. She has to have regular sessions with me, but she's not in any pain anymore. Like, how?
Can't understand why there's not more of this, of what you do available. Then, if it's so effective, which it obviously is, and it changes people's lives.
Absolutely. Gosh, it just, I feel very lucky, but the fact that I've been able to go, right, what is missing from my tool bag? Let me go and do that qualification.
Yeah.
And I'm so passionate about what I do. I did a 2-year course in 9 months, and I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning, fed it like late at night. I was up at the weekends at like stupid o'clock in the morning. Our conservatory turned into like this poster board of notes and books everywhere. And what I see at the end is, right, I have this client, how do I help him?
Yeah.
Or let's learn a lesson. I haven't been able to quite do that. What am I missing here? Yeah. And
you've got so much drive. And I suppose that comes from seeing the results. I suppose if you want to, if you know you're doing so much good and making such a difference to people's lives, that must drive you on to want to learn more so that you can help more people.
Actually, recently been really impacted by one of my clients. She's very, very poorly. She has cancer, and she went into hospital last January. She came out of hospital not walking. It took me up till August to get her walking again, and we were like, yes, we've done it. She's mid-80s.
How often do you see her?
Twice a week, and I still see her twice a week at the moment. So August, and I was like, right, I don't think you need me anymore. We've got to the goal. From that appointment to the next appointment, she went off her feet. But the communication completely changed. It was very negative. There was lots of, I'm going to fall, I'm not confident. So from August until February, it took me all that time to get her walking again. And we had to go back to the start, strength and conditioning, but it was a lot more of like mindfulness and positive and it was crazy how
so she was in her own home, was she? So just being on her own at home and not seeing you anymore. She just lost all that confidence.
It was just one session. From one session to the next, she just stopped walking. So February this year, on the Monday, she did the best walk ever. And it was like, yes, we did it. We got you back. Tuesday, she went into hospital with Bell's palsy. They thought she'd had a stroke. So she came out of hospital, and And she was strong still, but she was very depressed.
Yeah.
And then up until a couple of weeks ago, still the goal of, she's been basically in her dining room. She got a bed in there. She lives with her husband.
Okay.
He's ex-forces, he's ex-RAF. And then a couple of weeks ago, she went back into hospital, suspected stroke. And that has been the first time that I have been really affected. My alarm went off one morning at 5:10, as it does every morning. And I was like, oh, I don't want to get in the gym this morning. I don't want to do it. And I was lying there and I was thinking, this lady, if she could go back 20 years, 40 years, she would do it in a heartbeat. And I got out of bed and I went on my treadmill, and it's the first time I've ever been really impacted. Life is so short. And working with people with strokes or people who have survived strokes, Parkinson's, I have a lot of Parkinson's, seeing the impact, I mean, they're so motivated most of the time.
Seeing the impact it has on them drives you on, I suppose, doesn't it, too?
And even if it's just something little, I had somebody new this week, and he has a specialist, a consultant, he's got Parkinson's, he has all these people active in his life, and I gave him one little tip. And that was in the initial consultation. I was like, has anybody ever told you to do this, that, and the other? And he was like, no. And then I came to the next appointment, and he was like, what you told me, I did it. And look at me walk. And I was like, right, my job's done. I'll see you later.
It's incredible.
Yeah, but he had seen all these specialists and continues to see these specialists and consultants. I think I've give me more, let me know more.
Yeah. Are there many people like you, Zoe? Are there many in terms of the business, in terms of all the different types of help and support you provide? Is it widely available?
No. And I actually have had conversations with people from Cambridge who have said, have you got anything down here? For family members saying, do you know anybody? My family lives down Cornwall. Do you know anybody? And I'm like, no, because I've just gained all these,
It's quite a unique blend of skills that you have.
Yeah.
Which is good in a sense, because you'll always be in demand, but in another way, and you're very aware that there's lots of people that you can't help.
Yeah. I mean, and there has been, like, I don't work with children, and I have had a lot of conversations about children. I don't work with anybody whose main health condition is cancer, unfortunately. That's not my expertise.
No.
I do work with people who are living with cancer, but it's in a controlled way. I don't know enough about, those type of things. So I am restricted in some ways. So
yeah, but there's still plenty of people that you're able to help. So your life sounds very busy with 2 children and your own business. And you mentioned you go to the gym in the mornings or on the treadmill. So I don't expect there's a typical day in the life of Zoe Robson, but what generally do your days look like in the week, would you say?
Crazy.
Always crazy.
I am so blessed. Honestly, to be busy and to have 2 healthy, happy children. We have an amazing routine. I'm looking at my daughter. We have an amazing routine in the morning. So my son gets up at 6, and he's so good at getting up. In year 5, he's in year 8 now.
He's 13.
Yeah, in year 5, I was like, I'm not waking you up anymore, mate. I'm just not doing it. I'm fed up with the arguments. And since then, his alarm goes off at 6. He's straight out of bed. Every single morning, straight out of bed.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he's a good boy. So he gets up and we have breakfast together. And he has breakfast, I have a cup of tea. And then my daughter gets up at 5:30 because morning, children, hello. They're like 2 cats either side of the street. Who's going to go first? So there's a separate wake up time. And then it's just go, go, go.
Yeah.
It is just full on. I'm on the phone on the way to work.
And you have a clinic? Where's your clinic? It's
Frederick House.
In Nantwich,
in Nantwich, in Princess Court.
Did you spend most of the day there, or were you out visiting?
Yeah, it's a real mixture, because we have people book in ad hoc. So it could just be somebody's booked in for a sports massage, or they've booked in they've got an injury, routine appointments at home in the rehab suite. This morning, I've gone from a back injury to stroke survivor to an ankle injury to home visit to another home. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. But I have an amazing group of people around me that support me.
How many people have you work at?
So we have Jane, who does a lot of group sessions. She's a personal trainer.
Okay.
Who specialises in exercise referral, so she can work with common health conditions. And she does a lot of group sessions.
Okay.
So we do them at the Civic,
yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And then Taylor, Taylor's just come on board. If you ever see Taylor, you'll know before, 'cause she's got bright pink hair. It's like a
Yeah.
highlighter. She's 3 steps ahead of me. Like, she's a rehabilitation specialist and she specializes in lower back pain.
Right. Okay.
She's just about to do soft tissue qualifications, which means that I can give her a lot.
Yeah.
I've just lost Dawn. So Dawn was doing soft tissue work for me, but she's setting up her own business.
Okay.
So I'm very proud of her. And I'm very happy
Yes.
for her. So she's going to do lymphatic drainage.
Is that local as well?
Opposite.
Oh, great.
I know. And she was like, I'm so scared to talk to you. And I was like, and she told me, I was like, I'm so proud of you, because that's what
Yeah,
it's about,
it
isn't it?
is.
You know,
Yeah.
just be happy. So yeah, I'm really, really chuffed for her. And it also means with her having other skills that I can go, hey, yeah, actually, because I work with people who've got physical trauma, like had bike accidents and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know anybody that does lymphatic drainage. But, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, great.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can recommend because you know her well, which is fantastic. So you mentioned the Civic. Do you do lots of sort of sessions, exercise sessions around Nantwich? Do you?
So we do one at the Civic on a Thursday, and that all came about because I've done a lot of research with falls prevention. I've been really honoured to do research with NHS England and universities such as Salford University and Cardiff Met around falls and adapted mobility aids and things like that. And speaking to some of my clients of what's missing in Nantwich for older adults. So it's a research-based, chair-based exercise class where we do a clinical falls assessment as the first kind of session. Because there's 2 of us there as well, we can go and we can say during the class next to somebody and go, why don't you try that instead? Or are you okay? You seem to be struggling. So we can adapt very easily. So we want it to be person-centered. We want people to be seen and heard, and it's not just a massive class. We want people to go away. It's called Move for Independence.
And that's on the Thursday at what time?
11 o'clock.
In the Civic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you get older, as I am, we're all getting older, but once you get to a certain age, I think you do think about your own body and strength, particularly. Lots of people start talking about strength training and core, strengthening your core to help you, stop falling over in the first place. But if you do, to help you, manage it, I suppose, deal with it. And Nantwich, as we know, Nantwich has an ageing population, so there must be more and more demand, I would imagine, for that sort of help and support and classes. But you must know that certain section of Nantwich fairly well, or a lot of people in it. Well, I'm sure you do sort of see the challenges as well within the community for that age group in terms of
if you don't get there quick enough, it can really be the difference of somebody never walking again. Not because of anything dramatic, but from a falls prevention point of view, there's certain elements that, yes, strength is very, very important, but there's other things like reaction times. And balance. But confidence is probably the top of all of that. Something you can't see, you can't touch, and your confidence almost protects your body, even though you want to do something. I was working with a lady today, and all I'm getting her to do is walk next to some cones. When her leg comes to the cone, lift it up as if she's walking over it. And she stood there like she's in her own home. She stood there like, because she's been knocked, her confidence has just, but it's the body's natural way of protecting itself. The amygdala in the brain fires up and it doesn't know. She's anxious, she's scared, doesn't know, is there a saber-tooth tiger or is this tiny cone just a little bit scary? The brain doesn't know the difference. So she stood there like
in her own home.
In her own home.
How we react sometimes in certain situations.
Absolutely.
So confidence, that brings us on to nicely, because I think we would like to know on the Twitch whether you've got any useful tips for what we can do to help ourselves stay strong, really, and stay independent.
I would say the best thing that anybody can do is have a look at their own balance. And you can test this quite easily by tandem walking. So one foot in front of the other, heel to toe. Make sure it is heel to toe, not kind of side.
It's quite difficult, isn't it?
It is really difficult, especially if you have poorly hips or maybe a sore knee. Other things are standing on one leg, or if you find that quite easy, doing a task while standing on one leg. I went to the Thursday club, which is the dementia club. And it was all about falls and reactions. The actual last session was about reactions. And I got everybody to stand up and I got them marching, those who could. And then I went around the room and I was like, give me an animal, give me an animal, give me an animal. And so everybody's marching. And as soon as I asked them to tell me an animal, they stopped.
Stop. Yeah.
Because their brain is going, we have to do a task, but we can't, which tells me. And when everybody got around the room and I was like, right, everybody sit down. I was like, did anybody see that? And I was like, every single one of them, and it was a big group, stopped marching when you had to engage your brain. And I said, but this is what we need to be training, that you can react and your brain and your body is thinking it's one. So we went round again and we slowed it right down.
Should we carry on marching? They should have carried on marching and done.
Yes. But those are the type of things that give me you're going to be at risk of falls.
Really? You can tell?
Yeah, because as you come, say you're walking in Nantwich, and let's be honest, Nantwich, flooring in Nantwich isn't great. As you come up to things and your body and your brain aren't connected, what's going to happen?
Yeah, because you take your mind off. Yeah, if you're not constant, it's classic, isn't it? If you're thinking about something else or looking at your phone or whatever, you're not concentrating on the marching in this incident. The disconnection happens.
Yeah, but you can train your brain so easy from reactions. Okay. So easy. There's just today I was doing a coloured dot and this lady had the ball and I was doing that. I was like, right, put the ball on purple, yellow, pink, green, yellow, purple, blue. And then I give them numbers as well. And I was like, right, 3, purple. And just while she was moving and her brain was thinking about what she was doing. So not only there was the cognitive level there, but also the balance.
Okay.
And the doing.
It's like multitasking then, really, isn't it? Trying to teach your body to do 2 things at once, really. Okay, so that's interesting. So as we get older, how do we try and obviously balance is really important. But anything else that we can do at home, just to keep strong?
Housework. Now, this sounds crazy, right? So I worked for 7.5 years in care, in the exercise and rehabilitation. And one of the things that was very evident is there are some lovely care homes, very good care homes, carers, support workers, whatever the name is in the particular business, that really do care, really care for their residents. But they get looked after too well. So if you think about your day to day, getting up, going to the toilet, brushing your teeth, going to make a cup of tea, opening the drawers, reaching for a cup, all those type of things, what your body's doing, how it's responding, how you're moving and you're shifting and things like that. Those that live in care homes have everything done for them. Everything.
And you don't think that's a good thing then?
I don't. No, absolutely don't. They should be, come on, Mary, do you want to help me make this cup of tea? How would you make this cup of tea? Could you just get me that cup? Because moving like that with an objective, with a goal, not only is it great for the body, but when we have a task that's completed, neurotransmitters are released like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin that make us feel good. It's like when you've done the washing on a Sunday and you put it away, you feel great. Older adults don't tend to get that. Okay. So those type of tasks being completed have such an impact. And then on the body as well. Yeah. So housework.
I should remember that one. Yeah, I'll tell my husband. As you say, just keeping active if you can, as much as you can, really. Taking care of nutrition. I mean, you're a nutritionist as well, so being careful about what you eat.
Do you know, we work with people who are on a weight loss journey in our rehab suite that come in for a 6-week program, and they're always like, we've been on this diet and that diet. For me personally, yes, we need to be hitting certain micronutrients and macronutrients that are important for our body to feed it and stay strong. But life is about living and it's about balance. Have whatever you want, maybe just have a little bit less. Yeah. And obviously, as we get older.
Everything in moderation, really, isn't it? I suppose.
Absolutely. Yeah. As we get older, though, those niceties and those things that make us feel good become less and less. But also, if you're on multiple medications, you can't taste the same as we can.
No.
There's something like 11 tablespoons of salt needed for somebody who's on multiple medications to taste the same that we can. Yeah, because
and they're told not to take salt, not to have salt. Yeah. So
I've been sat with somebody and they were just full on eating a lemon, and I'm like, because she couldn't taste it. Because she had dementia, living in a dementia journey, but she was having the best time ever. And I'm like, you could go, you eat that lemon and the skin. She was having the best time. Why not? Yeah.
Oh. So it's so interesting, Zoe. It really is, in terms of all the different help that you can provide people in your case studies and your success stories are fantastic. I've been sat in an audience listening to you at an event, as you know, a few weeks ago.
Your face, and that just gave me so much courage. Looking at somebody smiling at you, do you know?
Yeah. But it was great. It was lovely to hear, because you played as a film of a particular chap who you helped, and he comes to your clinic quite regularly, very regularly, and he enjoyed it. You could see his face; he was so full of enjoyment, and he said, even if there's nothing wrong with me, I'd want to come. I want to come here and see Zoe and have a chat. Which, I mean, it's a wonderful testament, isn't it, to you? So it's
I think
fantastic.
just letting somebody who's not family just say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Get it out. There's no judgment.
It's like therapy for them, isn't it? Really, it is. They can just come and talk.
And that particular gentleman, his wife has gone into a care home with dementia.
Yeah.
Because I have an expertise in dementia, him asking me questions and me being able to give a different opinion, not family, not the care home, or just being able to talk things through. I think that means a lot to him.
Yes, I bet.
Get somebody else's perspective on it. Yeah,
absolutely. Come and talk to somebody who can give him some advice and, as you say, a slightly different angle. Great. Well, I think that brings us to the. Believe it or not, we've chatted for quite a long time, which doesn't surprise me at all. It's fascinating everything you do. It really is fascinating, and it's wonderful, to hear your story of how you got into it, almost by accident, but thank goodness you did. But no, thank you, Zoe. And thanks for joining us today on the Twitch. It's been great to have you. Good luck for the future, and I know we'll stay in touch.
Thank you, Sara.
Okay.
1, 2.